Welcome back to episode 11 of AyyScare Plays Front Office Football 8, Season 2. In case you missed the last episode, you didn't miss too much, to be quite honest. We actually had a decent couple of draft picks. However, we were not able to find ourselves a new quarterback. So, going into this episode, that's the main goal. Find ourselves that quarterback that will hopefully take us through the rest of this series. Because this episode 11... as a reminder, these series I'm running to the end of season 20. So we're through half point of this. We had a decent quarterback that took us into playoffs. I think it was 4 years straight. But, we're, believe it or not, still looking for that first bowl win. So let's see if we can get there. All right. So retaining staff. Looks like our head coach retired? Is that right? Let's take a quick look at that, because that might be a first in all of these. Transaction log. Okay. Now I'm a little bit confused. Did we have him on final year of contract? Maybe we did. Okay. All right. Now, our defensive coordinator, he's been holding up well for us, so we're going to keep him around. We'll probably look at assistant coaches since it looks like we need a new head coach anyway. So let's hop in. Let me see real quick if I can just determine, because now I don't remember off the top of my head who the coach on our team was going into this. I don't know if it's going to even be in here. It's not in here. Where do I go to find that? Blah, blah, blah. Team history. Yeah, I think it shows in here. Coach F. Elmash. So F. E. Yeah, it's weird. It looks like he retired. I don't think that I can click him in here. Let me take a quick look here. I can't click him there. And it doesn't show him in the transaction log. Huh. I got no idea what happened to that guy. That's a little bit weird. If anybody knows, feel free to let me know. But I'm not exactly sure what happened to him. So, he was our head coach, I think, since we started this. So this is going to be our first year under a new head coach. One of our main tackles, Riley Hines, ended up retiring. And it actually says in here it was under doctor's advice, which is interesting. He had dealt with a couple of injuries, but he was overall a really solid tackle for us. It's unfortunate to see him go. And then one of our corners went. Wasn't a big corner for us, though, so we at least have that going for us. All right, so now that we've somehow lost our coach here, let's take a look at who we'll have to pick from. All right, so top option on the board puts us back with a head coach that is primarily going to be defense oriented. I'm not opposed to it, especially with how good his development bars are, and he doesn't really have any bar under 50, which is great. He has a couple of years experience as head coach, and he did win a bowl with Detroit, let's say about 6 years previous, and he took a team as a defensive coordinator to the division playoffs last year. So, I mean, this guy at least has a track record. He also won one down here as defensive coordinator for Pittsburgh. So that is a very, very interesting option. Let's take a look at the other top options here. This guy is mainly a wide receiver. That's his primary, which let's take a quick look at our scouting here. Because I think our two top wide receivers are both a little bit older now. Yeah, so Rides and Jalen up here, that they've been our two main wide receivers for a while now. They're both a little bit older, so getting a coach that specializes like really high in player development and things like that. Now, obviously, it's not only wide receiver, but that's their primary focus. I will say that we'll probably need to get another young wide receiver at some point soon, because normally you don't see wide receivers go too much past like year 10. So we'll see. I don't think this is a bad idea either. Does he have any actual head coaching experience? This guy's never been a head coach and does not have as good of a look as the first guy in terms of history. Buddy Riley. This guy is a ton of experience. Actually, you know what? I just realized. I don't think that the other guy actually won, because this guy here says champion. What did the other guys say? FO Bowl. Does that mean they made the bowl and lost? Huh. I'm not 100% sure, but still, this guy made the bowl twice. And then let's take a look at just one or two other ones here. Here's a guy that focuses on tight ends, and we do have a pretty decent young tight end, I think. He's not that great. He's down here at a 51, so not somebody that we can probably build the team around. He actually, I will say, he's only had 5 years experience, but in those 5 years, he's basically gone 500 across the board and slowly crept to being better and better the past two. So even though I don't feel like tight end is something that we need to focus on too much, this could be an interesting option. Offensive style, I think, matters more for the offensive coordinator instead of head coach. So, yeah. With Riley out, we now don't have a good left tackle, which is important. So we could go something like this that focuses on offensive line. I don't like his bars as much, though. So it looks like I'm just planning to go the top guy on the list here. He has a track record of being able to make playoffs. He's focused on defense, which we're generally strong in. He's focused on secondary, which is right now a little bit of a weaker area. Right now, our front seven is definitely better than our secondary. So we will go ahead and bring him in. All right, offensive coordinator. I think I'm just going to stick with this guy. His bars are not fantastic, but he is the only one towards the top of this list with a primary focus on quarterback, which is definitely what we're going to need. Unless the plan is to go free agent quarterback. Let's take a quick look at that situation. So there is a chance that this guy goes to free agency, although I have a feeling he'll end up getting franchised. So, yeah, it does. And Jimmy Bush was the guy that we ended up cutting last year. So we really don't have, at least as of right now, it doesn't look like there's going to be a quarterback hitting free agency that's going to be worth it. We don't know what the draft looks like yet. It looks like we have pick 3 in the draft. So I think I'm just going to keep this guy and hope we get a decent quarterback that he'll be able to help train up. Once again, this guy considered top defensive coordinator. Let's not switch anything up. All right, now we do have some other options at assistant coach. Yeah, not a huge fan of that, even though he's top rated. He's actually top rated by quite a bit. This guy is kind of in line. He's a brand new head or assistant coach, no experience. Does not match our other two's play style in terms of he goes 4-3. His bars are really nice, though. I do have to admit that those bars are pretty darn nice. His bars are pretty decent too. Another young guy. And then from there, it seems like there is a pretty decent drop off. What's our current guy look like? Yeah, the only real benefit to this guy is that he does match our defensive scheme. But we've struggled the past 3 years. I don't think it's really due to the assistant coach, but maybe it would be worth swapping him out and just getting one of these top options. I'm not 100% sure how this guy is considered the best option, to be just perfectly blunt, because it doesn't look like he's done all that well as an assistant coach, and his bars are kind of meh. So I think I'm going to switch to one of these guys. Can we look at these side by side? No. I think the first guy looks a little bit better. Yeah, I think that this guy is going to be the better option. So will be his first coaching job. Let's select him. And we have the top strength coordinator, so we're good there. All right. Set ticket pricing. Let's look at that real quick. So since Riley Hines, Hines that was the left tackle retired, we should have some money to mess with, and we do have some decent money to mess with, so that's going to be good for us. Is this defensive end worth re-signing? Does not look like it, so we're going to let him walk. This corner did do decently, but I don't think he's worth franchising. Same with this guy, not worth franchising. Okay. Then, is there anybody worth actually cutting? Top players on the list. Definitely not cutting him. Not cutting him. Our boy Wayne Lee, we're not cutting him. Ride's not cutting. This nose tackle's done very well for us. He's done decently. Not worth cutting, that's for sure. And then right tackle really hasn't done all that well, but I'm worried that we're not going to get anything better. So we're going to keep him around. Okay, so that's everybody that we're at least paying double digits that we could potentially save on. So that about explains it. So let's get into this. We'll look at the draft preview for a second. There are 2 quarterbacks sitting at the top. One is significantly higher rated than the other. The other very interesting thing is that they're both very highly developed. Normally, you're going to see quarterbacks down near like the 10 to 20%, sometimes even lower range. These guys both look like they're ready to step in as rookies. Ooh, that is enticing. And if you didn't watch last episode and you skipped it, we had, I think it was second overall pick. And there was one quarterback at the top. We looked at the teams, and I decided, like, okay, I don't think the top pick is going to go quarterback because they already have a quarterback that's like 7 years in the league, rated at like a 55. They're going to go something else. They took the quarterback and completely kind of screwed us. That being said, we were able to nab ourselves a very nice defensive end. So, not all for the worst. All right. We're going to deal with that in a minute. Let's get through the first couple rounds of free agency, and then we will take a look at what's going on. Now, Donnie Pasco here, he actually won Defensive Player of the Year last year. He had a really good year, really good sacks, almost 100 tackles, very consistent player. So we are going to need to re-sign him. He's probably going to be a record deal, but this is the kind of player that we just can't let walk. Like, he's proven himself. So let's see here. Inside linebacker, he's considered, inside linebacker. $38 million is top salary. he's actually being pretty generous to us. Now, part of this is the fact that this is his second main deal. He's almost 30. But with how well he's been playing, I'm not going to risk losing him. So we'll go ahead and pay him what he's asking. And actually, that ended up opening more salary for us, which is awesome. Now, Herb Carpenter, running back that we drafted 4 seasons ago, or 3 seasons ago, I guess. He has not lived up to like full expectations. He's always been a split back, even though his bars are great. He's never really taken that like full workhorse load. That being said, that has limited what he's been able to do. So he's never had a 1,000-yard season. He's never gotten like double-digit touchdowns or anything like that. And if we look here, he's only actually had 4 games with over 100 yards in 3 seasons. So the thing is that I think that he's actually a really good running back that I want to definitely keep. And hopefully, because he's never really balled out, we'll be able to keep him somewhat cheap. Okay, I'll be honest, it's a little bit more than I was expecting him to ask for since he's never really balled out. But again, I think this is a guy that we have to keep around. He's somebody that we can have on the field with a young quarterback and give that quarterback that, safety net. So we're going to go ahead and keep him around. All right, we're now going to go down the list and get a couple of re-signs going here. This guy didn't do anything, but he still is highly rated according to our coaching staff. Highly rated as in supposed to get to about a 50. We'll go ahead. We can probably get a better long snapper for cheaper, honestly. All right, so who up here needs to have their deal reworked? Doesn't look like there are actually that many. Wayne Lee, I want this guy retiring with us, and he's giving us a team deal, so let's keep him around. This young left defensive end will probably be very cheap. Yep. So we'll definitely keep him around. This right guard, he's not the best right guard, but I'm worried that we're not going to get anything better. Oh, and he's giving us a really nice deal, honestly. Okay. Keeping him around. Inside linebacker down here has 1 year left. Has not done too much, but that allows us to get him cheap. We've had a really good linebacker core that is definitely helping out our situation. This defense, or this right tackle, honestly is not doing all that well. But again, I'm a little bit concerned that we're not going to get anything better. So money-wise, he's not even asking for top 20. So that is overall worth it. I wish that we had a better offensive lineman on the tackles, but we work with what we have. This corner has struggled a little bit. Let's look at the one below him because he also has 1 year left. Also a little bit struggled. He has an affinity though, so go ahead and re-sign him. That's a cheap deal. And then we might need to re-sign this guy just because I'm not sure we're going to get anything much better. I really don't like this guy's stats. Yeah, he's asking, even though that doesn't sound like a lot, like in 2 years, there's a chance that this guy declines in stats as he gets older. He might increase, but I don't really see that happening, and I don't want to be paying this guy 10 and 11 million in a couple of years, so we're going to let him probably ride that one out. Inside linebacker, once again, although he's disgruntled, so that's not, if he wants to be starter somewhere else, we can actually look into trading him here in a second. So just do that now. I think we're allowed to. Which guy was that? That was Patrick Thap. I don't know how the hell you say that. Patrick. That's who we're looking at here. Houston San Fran. Let's see what they'll pay. This guy has not put up great numbers, so I'm not expecting too much from him. What draft pick was he? Oh, he was even undrafted. So, really anything that we get for this guy is probably going to be a decent look for us. Let's see if they'll pay like a 4th rounder. Okay. We're just going to take it. Guy has almost no starting experience, so cool with me. We got him. Kicker hasn't done all that well recently, so we'll probably re-sign a new one after his season here. And yeah, that I think wraps up our re-signing of players. So game says we need QB, defensive tackle, and then tackle. I'd say I overall agree with that. All right, gray sheet. Did any quarterbacks end up dropping in here? Sean Smith did, which is interesting. He's the guy that I thought was going to get franchised. He has 4 years starting experience. He's outside of his 2 first seasons, which are a little bit of a wash. In the 3 more recent seasons, he's always been more touchdowns than interceptions. And on certain years, especially the last 2, there's been a pretty big difference there. Let's interview those 2 top quarterbacks in the league real quick, because this is a guy that I think we might want to put an offer in on, especially depending on what our coaching staff thinks of those 2 rookie QBs. The other big question is, would these guys even be there? So Dallas and Pittsburgh are above us. That also means that because that quarterback was playing for Pittsburgh last year, we definitely have a better offense to surround him with. So I don't think that I'm too worried about the fact that they didn't do well. Did he get injured? What was last season? Last season was... Yeah, he did end up with 2 injuries. Interesting, he's hurt that knee twice, or at least I assume it's the same knee. Little bit concerning, but overall, he's played almost every single game, so not too worried about it. Okay, so Pittsburgh will definitely be picking one of the quarterbacks. So definitely one's going to be gone. And Dallas is the other option. Dallas also does not really have a quarterback, so they will almost certainly go quarterback 2. So that puts us in a rough spot again, because that means more than likely we're not going to have a quarterback to go. Very interestingly, and a thing to keep in mind, because of that trade that we made, now I forget if it was last season or the season before, but we have 2 first-round picks and a super high second-round pick. If we get the guy that's already gotten some starting time from Pittsburgh, Sean Smith, I think is his name, we could use 3rd overall on top wide receiver and then 21st overall on something else to boost our team, and then 2-2 to another starter. So I think actually going for that quarterback is going to be the play. Question is, what is he worth? Now, in this game, this is basically a blind bid where I'm going to have to put in a bid. He is asking for a crap ton of money. Like, this is almost double. It's not double, but we'll just say it's, almost double increase in terms of what top salary is. I don't see a team potentially paying that. The fact that he's asking for this much also completely throws off what I should offer him, at least in my mind. Real quick, Pittsburgh. What's the easiest way for me to look at this? Team summary. No, not that. Team history is what I meant to click. Pittsburgh. So he's played there basically the past at least 3 seasons as starter. Or no, okay. So he did have 2 seasons going 9-7. And it doesn't seem like he had the best of teams surrounding him. Well, there's no harm in trying. And then if we don't get him, we'll then probably have to trade up in the draft and figure out that situation. Because otherwise, we're not getting a quarterback, basically. Jimmy Bush was on our team, right? Yeah, we did not like him. So, let's give it a shot, guys. All right. We're going to offer him a contract. We're not offering him this contract. I can tell you that much. I think there is a question here, though, of what the hell kind of is a realistic offer for this guy. Let's go look at who is... What's the easiest way for me to do this? I think I might be able to do it through the find player thing. Let me see. Sorry, this is going to be me digging around a little bit here, which I normally don't do too much of. I normally keep myself in the same kind of windows. But I want to make sure that I try to get in a good offer here, if there is one. I guess I can do it this way. I do individual stats from last year, passing. This isn't really the best way to do it, but let's just see. All right, so this guy was 29. He's probably on his big deal right now. And yeah, so he's at least one of the top paid. So right now he's getting structured at making probably an average of about $28 million a year bonus plus $50 million a year salary. So we'll just round that to $50 million and $30 million. Okay. It's $50 million and $30 million. Jeez. All right. Think about this. So $30 million on bonus. We're definitely not paying this guy that. I can tell you that much. We'll offer him right now 75 across 5 years. That's a $15 million bonus a year. So if he's okay with that, we'll keep that basically as is. So we'll keep that $75 million flat. This is where it gets a lot more confusing because the numbers that he's asking for are just astronomical. I do think that he's going to get a higher salary than we see over there in the franchise. If it's not us, another team's going to be willing to pay it. So let's figure this out. $48 million his first year is way too much. He has not proven himself at that level yet. It looks like a top 10 quarterback probably makes low 40s though right now. So we'll offer him $42 million to start. We'll then ramp it up by $5 million a year. Let's see what that ends up with. 57, 62. Okay. That is still a ginormous deal. It's definitely way less than he's asking for. But I can't potentially see a team paying him that. Especially since he's not like Super Bowl winner or anything like that. This is going to be our offer. If we don't get him, I guess it just is what it is. I'm back and forth on whether we should offer him more. Here's what we'll do. We'll offer him $16 million a year bonus, just to get that offer a little bit nicer for him, and we'll see. So we offered $340 million for 5 years. Let's see what he ends up going for. We did not get him. San Fran signed him. They almost paid what he asked for. Is that what he asked for? Oh my gosh, they paid him even more. They're literally paying him double the top salary. Oh. So what this ends up, what this is going to end up doing is this is going to make quarterback prices skyrocket over the next couple of years. I can't believe that. I really can't believe that. That is nuts. Okay. And they paid the top defensive end. Did they just have all the money in the world? What the hell is this? They still have a crap ton of money. They did something to free up money for themselves. That's nuts. Really is. Okay. Is what it is. Is what it is. That being said, we do have some money to at least try to grab a couple of useful players from the gray list. So I do think cornerback is a weak spot for us right now. Oh wait, we're not looking at our team. Blah, 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 blah. Denver. Yeah. So I think corner is definitely a weak spot for us. So if there's a good guy on the corners list, and then if we can get a tackle, that would be nice. And any kind of offensive weapon would also be a nice addition. All right. Just real quick, let me re-sign that guy. What's he asking for? Yep, I'll pay you that. Come back. Play for us. Okay. Gray sheet. Look at that. There's a corner on this list. Exactly what I'm looking for. Let's go. Above 80% pass defend it rate. Love it. I'll pay you what you're asking for because I got money because we didn't get that freaking quarterback. This guy's not even asking for much, so we'll sweeten the deal here. He's asking for a 4-year. Man, we'll pay you $40 million to come play for us as a bonus because you're going to step in and be our top corner. We'll offer him $25 million. We'll then offer him 30. We'll then offer him 35. And we'll offer him 40. Because even at 40, that is not even currently a top 5 corner number. So let's... Oh, wait a second. Lace express disappointment. Who is that? Lace. Please. Oh, I don't care. You can get cut then. This guy is worth the money. Gosh dang it, I had to type it all in again. What did I say? 25? 30? 35? 40. Alright. We'll see. I'm going to be honest, I think there is a chance that another team bids higher than this. Because we're not giving him too much more than what he's asking for. Let's actually bump him up a little bit. We'll do 28 to 33 to 38 to 43. That's cool. That's cool. $182 million for 4 years. I think that's a worthwhile option. There's another corner here. Honestly, getting both of them wouldn't be horrible. And this guy's not asking for all that much either. Let's sweeten the deal with him with a little bit extra bonus and then keep everything else the same. Because if we can get both of these guys, that really kind of finishes off our defense, barring injury. So let's see. Main guy that we're interested in is the Vince guy. Yep. And then the Sean is a added bonus. We did get Vince. Sweet. So we got the guy that we mainly wanted. That's great for us. We still have enough money that we can probably go for one other highly rated player. There is unfortunately not a quarterback, but let's see what else we got here. Grabbing another defensive tackle might be worthwhile, although we do have 2 somewhat highly rated ones. And we have another one down here. The game says we need a defensive tackle? It does. Okay. Not too high on that guy. Not too high on that tackle. Not too high on that tackle either. Okay. This running back has really decent bars. He's done horribly. At least last year he was really bad. Year before that he wasn't all that much better. I don't think this guy's worth bringing in. Could bring in another kind of middle of the run wide receiver. I don't think that's actually too bad of an idea. We have our two mainstays, and then we have that young wide receiver that it looks like he could be decent, but he didn't really do anything last year. So this would at least give us kind of like a clear starting wide receiver 3. And he's not asking for all that much, so let's see if we can get him. We'll just bump up his bonus a little bit. All right, we got him. Okay, so that kind of helps kind of even out what we were looking at there, and we now have to figure out this draft situation. Now, let's just double check. It was Dallas and Pittsburgh. Neither of them did anything, I'm assuming, that's going to make me believe that they're not going to go quarterback. This guy's definitely going quarterback. This guy's almost definitely going quarterback. I can't imagine that he rolls with this guy yet. Not when he has the option. Which means they're going to want a crap ton of money or draft capital for either one of these guys. Let's go ahead and interview them. Hard to read, but bars look incredible. And then this guy, as scouted, I'm going to be honest. I know that it's not the same as the quote-unquote hidden interception bar, but the fact that the accuracy bar is so low is definitely concerning. He's also really low on read defense. And the fact that both of those are low and his short passes are low are kind of horrifying to me. Like, all right, you can't read a defense, so you're probably, even though he's really high on sense rush, if you can't read a defense, you don't know where the blitz is coming from. That combined with low accuracy, and you only are good at throwing like beyond 10 yards, this is not an interesting player to me. They might pan out. They might do really well, but not somebody that I'm going to focus on drafting. Which leaves us at the top-rated quarterback, and he's top-rated by a pretty wide margin. It means that we're going to need that first pick, which is Dallas. Let's see what kind of thing they're looking for, if they're even willing to give it up. So I would give him my 3rd, my 21st, and I'll give him a first rounder next year. So in the end, what he's going to get here is he's going to get 3 first-round picks for 1, and he's just trading down 2 picks. That being said, I don't think he's going to go for this. He is. I feel like we have to accept this, right? Like, let's just try one thing. Yeah. Okay. I don't want to click no again because I think the guy might get pissed. Short answer here is that in order to really compete, we need a quarterback. This quarterback not only did extremely well at the combine, he's extremely highly rated. He's already 44% developed. I think this is like best case scenario. So we'll go ahead and do this. I don't see us getting a better option at quarterback for probably a while. We never know how that pans out, but I think that is what we needed to do. All right. So that's going to be our first round pick. We did keep our 2-2, which will give us some options to bolster something else. Let's say we might have a couple of decent options at like cornerbacks. Might be able to grab like tight end down here. Let's see here. So if we go back to Denver. Okay, so other thing is I feel like we really do need a left tackle. Left tackle really is important. That's going to be the quarterback's blind side. So even though I don't see one that's obviously going to be a second rounder, I feel like that has to be our second round pick. So this guy's supposed to be a right tackle, but we can then probably swap somebody over to left. That's actually really nice, really high block strength, really high pass blocking. The exact kind of guy that I would love to have. Not as great. I really want this guy to be like star blocker, but that's also asking a lot considering we're not going to have a first round pick for him. Really nice pass blocking, but not high strength. He does have decent endurance though. Block strength might be something that we can get some help with from our training staff, although his strength is significant. It's half of what the guy is above. Let's interview him. All right. We'll mark him. He could be an interesting, like, I don't know, 3rd, 4th round pick. Let's go back up here and see if we'll go ahead and interview this guy. Not wonderful. I'm going to mark him like that. I don't like those bars. Well, yeah. Not as a second round pick. Okay. So we're hoping Vince Peters falls. I don't think he's going to. So let's look at 1 or 2 other positions that could help us out. Right now, we're not running a fullback. Actually, that's not true. We are running a fullback. Okay. Let's see. I don't get why the game always says defensive tackle. Like, we have 3 very highly rated defensive tackles. I feel like something else should be taking precedence. But I don't know. If anybody has any input on that, please let me know in the comments. But, okay. Yeah, I feel like getting a young wide receiver or tight end that's good on receiving stats would probably be the next best option. Since our main wide receiving duo is getting up there in age. Someone like this could be very good. He's also very underrated. So that's enticing. Really good combine from this guy, but not liking his bars. Very interesting. He's considered very overrated though. Good. I think, like, looking at his bars, I think that this guy could definitely fill in as, like, a decent wide receiver 3. So I'll mark him. I don't think that's going to be worth a second round pick. But, yeah. Now, you might be wondering why I just kind of cycled off of this guy, because his bars actually look decent. His strength is a 7, which is just terrible. I'm not sure how much our coaching staff is going to be able to fix that. We'll interview him anyway. He's considered hard to read. I think that guy's going to end up being like a toothpick. I think that he's going to end up getting injured a lot, but yeah, we'll give him a shot, you know. Not great, but another decent later round option. Look down at this guy. That's a very more interesting later round pick. And let's take a look at 1 or 2 tight ends. Let's see. Top tight end is definitely going to go off the board. This tight end is incredible looking. Look at that. Every single combine thing is a red, which is good. Not a single bar below 50%. The only one that borders it is special teams. This guy's going to be an absolute stud wherever he ends up. But he's not going to be our pick. Where does the second tight end fall? I think that he falls in the realm that he might last to 202. I think that he will end up going before that. But then next tight end is definitely out of 202 range. So we'll see if we can get him. Where'd he go, though? There he is. Let's interview him at least. Hard to read, but really good route running, really good third down catching, really good getting downfield. He also puts up those blocking bars like crazy. So, okay. We know who we're going 101, and then we have a couple of options at 2, and then we'll kind of build from there. Close window. Here we go. We're on the board. We know who we're going. Bring us some wins, Devin Holmberg. Let's do this thing. Select. And I'm going to keep it slow here just for a second to see what happens. I'm guessing Pittsburgh goes the other QB. They do. That's exactly what I was kind of anticipating to happen there. And then Dallas will almost certainly go that wide receiver. Yep. All right. So it was definitely the first 3 off the board this time, which, it's kind of expected based on what I was seeing. That pick by Jacksonville is definitely a little bit interesting, but I'm guessing that that's just a position that they really need it. All right. Let's go ahead and speed this thing up. All right, now, both of the top tight ends went. So, right now, in terms of the top of the board, we did not interview or like any of these guys. It looks like a number of tackles that were higher than, or no, we didn't really particularly like any of these tackles. Okay. So the main tackle that we liked did go. We have a number of wide receivers that we have to choose from. And then, okay. So that opens up kind of a weird conundrum here because I don't think any of these wideouts are near the top of the board. Yeah, none of them are that high. This Patrick guy, I would feel okay going him like 3rd round, but those bars, in my opinion, are not worth a 2nd round, especially a 202 pick. Game says we need a defensive tackle. That's top on the board. This inside linebacker looks great, which actually brings up something I forgot about. Didn't we have a guy that wasn't happy? Wasn't this guy? Maybe that guy ended up going off of our team to free agency. Okay. I was looking at our team, right? Yeah, okay. So, do we just do the top of the board pick here? The only other thing that I can think of is we can look at this, try to determine, just from looking at it, what positions we are potentially missing here. I think tackle is definitely an area that I want to focus one pick on, but I think that we'll be able to get that guy that we have red in the 3rd round. Our linebacker situation is pretty good. Defensive line. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, obviously injuries will always throw a wrench into things, but I feel like our overall team here is looking very nice. Now that we have quarterback, game still says we need a quarterback. Okay. All right. I feel like it might be a boring pick, but I might go the top inside linebacker here. I feel like that would at least be, it should be a significant boost over one of these two guys. And then depending on how good he is, maybe we wouldn't have to re-sign this guy to a longer contract. It's crazy how many defensive fronts are on this board right now. We technically don't have anybody that prefers right defensive end. So someone like this could actually be interesting. This guy's also already almost 50% developed. Really good dash. For defensive front, these are the 3 bars I really care about. So that is actually potentially a more interesting player to me. Let's grab this guy. Look at that inside linebacker slipped a number of spots after us. Okay, we still have the 2 wide receivers. The tackle did fall, and he's probably not going to last another pick here. The blocking strength bar does worry me, but I think our strength coach will be able to work on that. So let's give him a shot. If he ends up being able to increase his strength decently, then his other bars were really nice. And then, oh, look at that. Frederick Browning ended up falling. Cool. We'll select him. He's only 5% developed, but that's okay. We already have our 2 mainstay wide receivers locked in. This is the pick from trading out that guy earlier. I think that was actually the linebacker that I looked for a second ago. So we could bring in an outside linebacker. Let me take one quick look at something here. And we're pretty well-rounded, to be honest. Yeah, we're basically free to pick here. Another really decent looking defensive end right here. Ooh, that defensive end looks really nice. What's going on here? That defensive end doesn't look that bad either. Okay. That quarterback doesn't look half bad either. Okay. All right. But let's not bring in a quarterback controversy right now. Wow, I'm really just thinking about going another defensive front here. I mean, this guy's bars are nuts. And he's right defensive end, which is the one that I mentioned I feel like we really need. Let's go. Oh, we're up again, and the other defensive end I have marked is ready to roll, apparently. I don't think we need to put anybody else on the defensive line, though. If anything, we should be going linebacker, corner, or tight end, I think. So linebacker, corner, or tight end. Let's look at it through the grade here. Okay, so there are a number of linebackers available. Don't see any clear. Here's some tight ends. Not too great. Not too great. Then down here are some corners. Were there any higher ones? No, so we're basically looking at a couple of these guys. Not a rusher, but if he's inside linebacker and his other stats are incredible. So let's go ahead and pull this guy in. Let's see if there's any wider or tight end here that, like, even a great like blocking tight end would be great. Meh. That's an interesting one. Not worth this round pick though. Let's go back up here. This guy's really just a run blocker, which isn't bad to have. What's our current tight end really good at? Our current tight end is definitely a little bit more of the receiving kind of tight end. So pulling in somebody like this could be worth it. I don't know. I'm not too pumped about him. I think I'm more pumped about this guy that we can probably get next round. Let's look at kicker. I mentioned that we are going to need a kicker probably next season. Neither of those look fantastic. Our punter, I think, yeah, he's still with us for 2 years, and he's constantly been a very good punter for us. We could go with another running back. Herb Carpenter is obviously our main guy. We did re-sign this guy, but he really has very limited experience and his bars are not great. So maybe if we can pull in one of these running backs to be like an RB2 or RB3 behind Herb Carpenter. Like someone like this, his bars look really good, and he could probably learn a bit from Herb Carpenter. I think that's going to be the play right there. Darnell Norton. All right, did that tight end fall to us? He did, so we'll go ahead and select him with our 7th round pick. All right. I don't know. I feel like that draft on paper seemed decent, but let's take a quick look. Quarterback, defensive end, inside linebacker, defensive tackle, all expected to be 65 plus. Boom. Let's go. And on top of that, all of them are already decently developed, so we could literally have 4 rookies starting for us this year. That's very happy with that. I'm not going to elaborate on that anymore. All right. And we do have a little bit of money for any rookie or something that might have fallen through the draft here. Looks like this corner might have. So we'll throw an extra $500,000 at him. Ooh. Be a distraction. Okay. Don't want to bring that into this team right now. Here's a corner, or a center, I mean. We only have one center on our roster, and he's a guy that we might end up having to pay a lot. So if we can get another young center that can fill in a year or two, that would be awesome. 2 kickers, neither of them look all that promising, so I'm not going to go for that. Here's a defensive end that fell through, but if we get too many, then they're going to complain about play time, so I don't want to pull in another one of those. Any tackles fall through the draft? Does not look like any really fell through, but we might be able to pull in a proven guy. Let's see, left tackle. Top proven player. Really not the best stats, not the best bars. And he actually has a negative popularity. That doesn't sound good. Let's not do that. I don't know if that actually matters, but that does not sound like the kind of player that I want. This guy doesn't seem all that great either, but we'll give him like a 1-year deal. Let's see, to make sure he signs, we'll give him a 1-year, $8 million deal. That way he should definitely sign with us. And more than likely, he's going to be our starting left tackle. So let's make sure he's happy. Get our quarterback what he needs to stay up and healthy during this rookie season. Here's another left tackle that might be worth bringing in. I'm going to give him exactly what he's asking for, nothing more or nothing less. And then, we need our long snapper. Okay. All right, take the top on the board. I'm not afraid to pay a long snapper. Let's go. Now we know that secondary, we do need one other player, preferably a cornerback, but I kind of take what I can get here. Let's see. That guy was going to be a distraction. Man, that sucks because he's like the only really good one on the board. We'll give this guy an offer, though. Honestly, between all of those players, I think that we might be out of money here. But let's see. If one of those tackles signs before the others, I'll probably cut the other one. They're both pending. We got the long snapper in center, though. Moment of truth. The one guy signed his 1-year deal, so we're going to withdraw the offer from the other guy. And then we're still hoping to get that rookie cornerback. It looks like we got him based on the money. Yep. Okay. We don't have money to make really any mid-season big transactions, but I'm going to be honest, I think that a mid-season transaction is something that's maybe happened in the 30 seasons of this game that we've done, or 30 episodes. I think I've maybe done a mid-season transaction like twice. So it's not something that happens all that commonly. So I think I'm A-okay with keeping it low, especially since we're going to be working with a rookie quarterback. So we'll see how this all pans out. All right. Let's make sure no key injuries happened during preseason. Starting. Okay. This guy is dealing with a pulled groin, but is probably going to start. We have 2 injuries in our one in our linebacker, which is a broken thumb, and one in the corner, which is a sprained knee. But it does not look like we lost one guy to a concussion. He'll be out for a little while. But no major injuries during the preseason. So let's roll. All right. First game, we won 17-10. Now, since we're dealing with our rookie here, let's take a quick look. First game of his career, 212 passing yards, 2 TDs, 0 interceptions. He completed 24 of 31. Our running game was decent. And then our wide receivers and stuff seemed to do very well. All right. That is about as good as you can hope for from a rookie's first game. So let's see how he does through week 4. All right, we lost that game 28-23. We lost that game 27-21. And then let's see, this is our bye week, so we'll run one more here. And we lost to Buffalo 17-9. Okay. So we're sitting at 1-3, but again, we're working with we're working with a rookie quarterback here. What happened? Pulled calf muscles. He's going to be out for a little bit. Okay, so that means that he basically got injured on the second, literally like first play of the second game. So, okay, so we know that we're going to be dealing with a little bit of problems here. main wide receiver is also injured. We're dealing with a couple of smaller injuries, but all of them add up over time here. Ooh, Wayne Lee, our mainstay. Back surgery. He's going to be out. Okay. All right. But we do have Schwartz here, and then we got our boy Sebastian Slaughter. So, and we also have Alexis Brady. So, honestly, even though I want Wayne Lee to be good and playing for us, it's not the end of the world. Definitely could have happened on a worse season, that's for sure. All right. We're probably going to play one or two more games here without our rookie quarterback, and you can see our backup is playing horrendously. It's probably about now that our quarterback is going to potentially be back. It looks like he still has a week or two. I really want him to be able to get in and get a couple more games under his belt before his sophomore season. Okay, he's now stepping back in. Actually, it looks like he might have played one or two of the past games. But we're sitting at 1-7. We know that we're not making playoffs, so let's just kind of roll through this and then recap. Right? Won a game there. Ended up beating Las Vegas. That's pretty big. Austin here put a whooping on us. Here we're going up against Pittsburgh. All right, and that was actually the two rookie QB showdown there. As long as he's still playing for us. Yep. Or not injured, basically. Yep. So we did take the W over the other rookie, but, whatever. We were the higher rated quarterback, I will say. Now, what I will also say is, since rookie quarterback came back here, we went from 1-7 to 5-8. So that is a great look here. And you can see here, we're only Kansas City, who's 10-3, is only considered a 4-point favorite over us, which is another good sign. Seems like our defense has slipped up a little bit this year. We're definitely giving up more points than we have in other years. Here we are, final game of the season against California, and they put a whooping on us. So we finished 6-10, but we're going to look at some stats here. Honestly, 6-10 for a rookie quarterback, I am overall happy with that. Main goal of this is to start building that team around him and give him that opportunity to develop. So we'll take a look at how his season really panned out here. In terms of how the season will end here, championship game is Baltimore against Green Bay. And the W goes to Green Bay at 48-19. It was a shootout for Green Bay. All right. So let's go ahead and save. And then do just a little bit of analysis here in terms of what really transpired here. So it looks like he actually was also playing with Jalen not playing. Did he end up having a big injury? What happened to him? Oh, there he is. Okay. He just ended up not starting towards the end. Oh, it looks like he had a knee injury. Okay. And we were already missing playoffs, so it's probably a good thing to not start him. Everett Rides didn't really do all that well, but he's been a very kind of good, stable player for us to have on our team. All right, let's look at the team summary. So when he played, he went 225 on 363 attempts for 2,150 yards, was averaging about 6 yards an attempt, 14 TDs to 12 interceptions. That stat line for a rookie is fine with me. Carpenter had kind of a down-ish year. Fumbled 5 times, which is way too many. And then our RB2 here also fumbled 3 times. And you'll see that fumbles are set at 21. That normally comes from when your quarterback gets strip sacked or something like that. Our top targeted player was actually our tight end, and it was by a freaking mile, which is very interesting to note. I wonder if that means that we should focus on a receiving tight end instead of a new wide receiver in the coming year or two. But we'll see how that all transpires. It's interesting that Jalen here didn't really do all that much, to be honest. I mean, he started 12 games and only got 650 yards, which for, your wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 would be okay, but like, this guy should have been, maybe that groin injury was kind of lingering on him. I know he missed a couple of games from that. And then obviously there were quarterback changes and things like that. Let's see, look in here. Oh, Sebastian Slaughter went for 121 tackles. Nice. Nobody put up great sack numbers. Honestly, those Slaughter and Wyrick here, great seasons. And look at that. He actually has an extreme conflict with Donnie Pasco, which that's something that we'll need to deal with next season, because we don't want an extreme conflict, especially when Pasco won Defensive Player of the year before. So we'll need to figure out that situation. You know what? Overall, I realize that some of these numbers don't look good, but you always have to keep in mind it's a rookie quarterback. He did not have the overall best team surrounding him. But I think that we're in more than a position that hopefully next year he will continue blossoming, and we should have some playoff runs in our future. Let's take a quick look if we won any season awards. Sebastian Slaughter made it to the second team. I'm honestly surprised he didn't go first team, but I'm guessing the first team safeties had a bunch of interceptions or something. Yep, this guy had 7 interceptions and almost a 90% pass defender rate. Jeez, this dude is really freaking good. And then this guy went for 104 tackles and 4 interceptions, plus an 82% pass defender rate. Our guy did get more tackles, only 3 interceptions and a lower pass defender rate. So, yeah, I guess where he is sitting does probably make sense. Well, final thing I want to check. Where are we going to be drafting next year? So it's 6 and 10. There's 1, 2, 3. There are only 3 teams with lower records than us. So we could potentially have pick 4, but there are a number of 6 and 10 teams, so we could also have pick 10. But that means we should still have a top 10 pick. Although we traded it away, didn't we? I forgot. We traded it away to get our quarterback. Okay. So, we might not have the best draft next year, but you know what? We'll figure that out when the time comes. I hope to see you guys at the next episode. Thank you for sticking around with me. Until then, AyyScare out.